Well, I have a design studio, Luis Alvarado Design, and I'm actually entering my 18th year in the design business. And it seems like yesterday, but I started out by getting my first job at WGBH in Boston, Channel 2, the PBS station. And after working there for 2 years, I decided to come back to Southern California.
What was that like working in WGBH?
Well, it was an incredible experience because coming right out of college at Arizona State, was able to land this job that, I mean, I always knew WGBH as a very high-end and very well-regarded station in terms of their programming and everything that they basically produced there. But what I didn't know is that the head of the person in charge of all of the marketing and design, as well as the heads of the design department, were all very well regarded design educators who not only worked there and had worked there for years, but also taught design at some of the major schools like RISD, Rhode Island School of Design, and Yale. So I felt like I actually landed into more like a master's program, you know, hands-on, working, working real world, but under the mentorship, if you will, of these incredible designers. So it was amazing.
Is that why you're such an ace designer?
Well, I don't know why that is, but I think I got a really good education and a really good first experience. But what that did, though, is when coming out here, is it was very difficult to find a job that sort of was at that level. So before I knew it, I found myself doing freelance projects for different design studios and different agencies. And after a while, developed my own clientele and had too much work for just me, so needed to hire an assistant and so on, you know. And at one point, a few years ago, I had 3 designers working for me and a person doing sales. So that was sort of as big as I've gotten. And now, you know, our business is basically what I found through the years. It's really feast or famine, and it's a big roller coaster ride, and you just got to hang on.
So I guess what's going on now with the economy isn't really anything new for you, or is it?
It really isn't. It's something that we've been through many times before. To what extent this one is going to be, it's hard to tell, and it's hard to sort of figure out right now, but we just go with the flow. And because we're a small studio, it really doesn't take a whole lot to keep us busy. So, you know, 1 or 2 big projects, and then we'll be fine for months to come. So it's really never been an issue. You just have to learn to roll with it.
What do you do to, I guess, feed yourself creatively? I mean, you seem to be always on the cutting edge, if you will, of cool, hip design.
Yeah.
Without being too, self-conscious about it.
Well, I guess my nature is just a very interested person in anything and everything. And I think just that sort of awareness and keeping your eye open for changes and sort of the evolution of communication is probably one reason. And then another is I've been fortunate to have some really good help and some really good designers, and they tend to be younger and hipper, and you know, and they also bring some amazing ideas and open my eyes to new ways of doing things.
What's the value of having a set of eyes and a brain like yours coming to the table?
I think the biggest issue with graphic design is, unlike some of other professions, whether it be law or medicine or even architects, they all have a certification that they need to acquire in order to be a professional doctor, lawyer, architect. And graphic design doesn't have that. So basically, anyone can be a graphic designer if they just simply take one class and get themselves a computer. So somebody like myself who has actually had training, you know, and gone through a complete program and has really, I think, paid their dues, you know, at becoming and learning what design is all about. I think you just, or at least what I do for myself is I put myself in a scenario where I say I'm worth this much, and that's basically what I bill my clients, or that's what I basically use as a foundation for which to come up with estimates and proposals for clients' projects. Now, there's a certain type of client that understands that, and that is a client that's also a professional marketeer, somebody who works for a corporation in marketing communications or in corporate communications, and they've also gone to school and learned what it takes and what it means to actually work with and have that type of expertise. So usually with people like that, you wouldn't have any problem, because that's just what the way business is run. They're gonna know that if they hire the person who just took one class and has his computer in his house and is charging, you know, 25% or of whatever I might charge, they're gonna know just from the get-go that it's not comparing apples to apples. Mm-hmm. Now, where you run into problems is really with the business owner, the small business owner, the entrepreneur who basically just has ideas and is creating a business and is very good at what they do, but they've never had the experience of working with professional designers. So they're the ones that get confused and don't understand why I need to charge $10,000 for a website when they can go online and see that they can just have somebody do it for them for $500. And, you know, we try to educate people such as that as to why, and the education basically means laying out for them the process that we're gonna go through in order to design and produce, whether it's a website, a brochure, a logo for them. And at that point, it's really up to them if they appreciate the process we're going to take to come up with a solution, and or not. So there's really no argument in my mind. Is they either understand it or they don't.